everybody. Well, and live stream audience, welcome to a very interesting day here in the Whatcom County area. Depending on where you lived in the county, you either got 7 inches or nothing. And so up here at the center, which is 900 plus feet above the rest of Bellingham, we have snow. We have about 5 inches of it, but all these hardy people came, and I want to give a special thanks to all of our volunteers and our music team and our ushers and Hank Qualley in the back for shoveling the walk. We're here, we're ready, stand up and let's sing.
Please, whoa, Nelly. And then we could maybe bring me down just a little, or maybe we're okay now. I dialed down. Okay, now here we go. All right, friends. Ooh, shake it off. In the name of love, the heart of grace, overflow in us, decorate this place. As it is below, so it is above. May we always stand in the name of love. For being here this morning, everyone. Take a minute to greet some of those beautiful faces out there. And if you're on social media, let us know where you're tuning in from.
That's unusual. Are you ready?
right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. 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 My soul is welcome Well, we have a children's program,
Yeah,
and it
we
looks they
have.
get to play in the snow today. And we've
Yes.
got a child or two amongst
Yeah,
us.
yeah, there might
And
be
so
a
we're
couple
going to
more.
sing them out to their class today. Hooray for the world. We're glad to be on it, aren't we?
Yes.
Even if sometimes we're not. Then we can sing songs like this that help remind us of the wonderful, miraculous thing that is life. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, it's a special place. We got Mother Nature and the human race. The world's got trees and bumblebees, rivers and lakes and the open seas, mountains and valleys and animals too, and a sun that shines on me and you. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, it's a special place. We got Mother Nature and the human race. Got Mother Nature and the human race.
Good morning, CSL Bellingham. Welcome to this beautiful day. We even have a snowman forming out there with the sun beaming down. Thank you for being here. Please silence your cell phones if you haven't so far. And a little reminder, we do have early morning prayers Monday through Friday. You can get that information on our website, and there is a prayer vessel in the back. And I want to thank Deb Dole for being my practitioner along with me today. Thank you. Okay, join me now, going within into that sweet spot, that heart within, that place connecting to the one source of all that is, the divine presence. The divine presence is in and through all life, ever pulsing, ever uplifting. The one source in all life is in my life and your life. And join me now in knowing that the divine is present in each moment and each moment after, ever creating anew in bold and glorious ways. From the tiniest seed becoming to ordering all of nature, the divine is always present. And I know the divine is in everything. Nothing is excluded. From the forests and the trees to the beautiful snow in the sky, the seas, the glaciers, and the grasses blowing in the wind on the prairies, all life. And I am so grateful for this. I am so grateful. And I embrace the divine that is in and through all life, ever creating. And it, in my intention, to be the highest and best good in my life, walking in concert with the divine, while shining a light of compassion on the rough and the smooth, knowing all life is in the divine flow, in the divine love. And I am so grateful for this. I'm grateful for this teaching. I am grateful for Dr. Andrea and Reverend Zena, and I'm grateful for this community. And in that gratitude, in that love, in that profound knowing, I release these words, knowing they are so, and so it is.
May I never lose my wonder. 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 Sing that with us. May I never lose my wonder. 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 Wide-eyed and mystified, may I be just like a child, staring at the beauty of the world. Wide-eyed and mystified. Wide-eyed and mystified, may I be just like a child, staring at the beauty of the world. May I never lose my wonder. 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 Wide-eyed and mystified, may I be just like a child, staring at the beauty of the world. Wide-eyed and mystified, may I be just like a child, staring at the beauty of the world. Wide-eyed and mystified, may I be just like a child, staring at the beauty of the world. Wide-eyed and mystified, may I be just like a child, staring at the beauty of the world. May I never lose my wonder. 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 Now we're going to shift gears a little bit to a brand new song that is alignment with, I think, what Dr. Andrea is going to speak about today a bit. So I had written the first verse months ago, back in 2022, way back then. And then yesterday, as I was looking at the topic and feeling out the music for today, this second verse came to me, and I thought, let's teach it to the congregation, everyone that is you. And so this is an upbeat song, and I'm hoping y'all get into it and clap and sing with us. All right, it goes like this. I'm letting in new information into this body. I'm changing the old pathways in my mind. I know there's no going back, 'cause I'm running on a different track. I'm letting my soul be renewed today. I'm letting in new information into this body. I'm changing the old pathways in my mind. I know there's no going back, 'cause I'm running on a different track. I'm letting my soul be renewed today. Let the love in abundance. I'm letting the love and abundance come my way. I'm making room in my life for all I dream. I know I am what I believe, so I'm holding up a vision of me in perfect flow with the infinite today. I'm letting in new information into this. If you want to dance and move your body, I'm singing the old pathways in my mind. I know there's no going back, 'cause I'm running on a different track. I'm letting my soul be renewed today. Love and abundance. I'm letting the love and abundance come my way. I'm making room in my life for all I dream. I know I am what I believe, so I'm holding up a vision of me in perfect flow with the infinite today. New information. I'm letting in new information into this body. I'm changing the old pathways in my mind. I know there's no going back, 'cause I'm running on a different track. I'm letting my soul be renewed today. Let the love in. I'm letting the love and abundance come my way. I'm making room in my life for all I dream. I know I am what I believe, so I'm holding up the vision of me in perfect flow with the infinite today. Perfect flow, in perfect flow with the infinite every day. In perfect flow with the infinite every day.
Great song, great song. And yes, it's a little scary. She doesn't know me really well. So this is the last talk on Open to Possibilities, which has been our theme of the month. And of course, in Science of Mindland, this is the goal, is to be open, right? And receptive to what is possible, not just what has been, but what can be. So the topic is a little long. I usually do like 2 words, maybe 4. This is living a generative life at any age. And, you know, I'm sure a lot of people were like, well, she must be talking about old people. But actually, I was thinking of our children and our parents and our young adults that are attending, as well as everybody else, because the habits that we live from begin young. If you listen to Joe Dispenza or you were studying a book called What's in the Way is the Way, you begin to realize that, I begin to realize that a lot of the habitual thoughts, the habitual ways that I've been living started from belief systems that were taken in early in my life. And some of them were great. I happen to have one of the only actually nice families I know of. They were really pretty decent folk, and they didn't hurt me too bad. But the beliefs they gave me, not so much sometimes, because the beliefs that they were operating from were the beliefs that their parents operated from, and the beliefs that their parents operated from, and the beliefs that their parents, and on back. So it was an ancestral lineage of struggle and hard work and fear, with lots of anger thrown in, because struggle and hard work sometimes make you angry, right? Am I the only one? So I wanted to talk about how to live from a different place, full well knowing that to do that, we have to wake up to who we are and how we've been operating. So let me give you the definition of generative, because that's in the title of the talk. It means creative, productive, changing, evolving, with the possibility of surprise. You say that, but do you mean that? Yeah, because surprises come in many different ways, right? And it sounds fun, like when you're when you're going someplace with a friend, and all of a sudden you realize they've organized a surprise party. For some of us, this is fabulous, and for others, it's like, oh my living God, no! I thought it was just going to be 2 people, and now it's 10. Too much. So it depends, but the capacity to allow ourselves to be surprised is really important, and why generative living is critical from all ages of humankind is that when we live from that place, we actually get out of life more than we put in, which allows us to have more energy to put in, and then we get more back, and then we have more energy, and then we put it out there, and more comes back. So there's this incredible cycle, and it shows up in many, many ways. For me, what I notice when I study saints and mystics and people who have attained a level of awakened life is that they seem to be absolutely full of energy all the time. And it doesn't mean that they don't need rest. That's not it. But boy, I mean, one of my teachers was Thich Nhat Hanh. And that guy at a retreat was everywhere. And, he was walking real slow because he was being very mindful. But he had so much energy to give. So how do we have that? How do we live from a generative place? Well, as wonderful and supportive of ease and comfort as habits are, they have an unfortunate side effect, and that is that they have a tendency to extinguish surprise, because habitual living isn't about surprise, right? It's about routine. Let's do this in a routine way. And think about your habits. I mean, not just the bad ones, any of them. And what they were designed to do was create ease, so that you didn't have to think about it anymore. And our parents had a lot to do with this, sometimes teachers, other caregiving type people who wanted us to have certain habits that would support us in being healthy in mind and body and spirit. So they taught us all kinds of things like brushing our teeth, which most kids that I know don't especially like when they first start. You have to sort of bribe them with bubblegum toothpaste and stuff. I'm a grandmother. I know all about this now. And those habits become routinized. And so then they drop into the subconscious, into the neural net that's running the show, and we don't have to think about it, really. In fact, we feel weird if we miss brushing our teeth. At least I hope so. You know what I'm saying? And there's lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of these things that we've routinized in our livingness. And while they're great for making sure that we do the things that are important, they also sometimes are really subtle blocks to allowing something to happen, to allowing newness, to allow evolution, to allow surprise. I'll go back to the toothbrushing just because I don't want to scare you with the other things I could bring up in your life. But have you ever had something happen? I have, where you get knocked out of your routine because something lovely is happening. Like I remember one time being, just kind of getting up and kind of staggering out to the living room and making a cup of coffee. And all of a sudden, some friends of mine showed up with breakfast. Well, I hadn't brushed my teeth yet. I do that after I have coffee. Routine, right? And so I'm sitting there, and they're staying. They're obviously staying. So there's a piece of my mind going, oh my God, just don't breathe on them. And there's another part of me going, wow, what a surprise. How cool is this? Look at what they made. This is way better than the oatmeal I was going to make. Surprise, right? It's a surprise, and so it knocks us out of routine. So I wonder if we can build in surprises. I wonder if we can open up the neuronet to allow new firing and wiring of our circuits so that different thoughts, different experiences can have room. Because with so many habits in place, the opportunity to actually be new in things can become compromised. So I thought about the secrets I know of that I practice. And I actually did a whole series of talks on this first point. And this is because one of my lovely teachers was Raymond Charles Barker. And he wrote a book called Power of Decision. And how many of you have taken that class? Yes, many of you. And the Power of Decision, if you haven't read it, it's an old book, but it's so relevant. So one of the things he says in there as a prescription for up-leveling life is to say yes a lot, a lot. And so think about it. Think about it. As your assignment this week, say yes more than you ever have to whatever comes your way. And what's the first thing you feel? Like, oh, was it that? Like, oh, what if someone asks me to do something I don't really want to do? What if they invite me to go to the movie that I don't really want to see? What if? That's the neuronet talking. That's the comfort, habitual way that keeps us from having new experience. So the antidote is say yes anyway. Even if the discomfort is big, say yes, and just, you'll survive. Okay, if they ask you to skydive, you have an out. But, say yes a lot. And what begins to happen in that is that there's a place beyond the discomfort of the body-mind that has learned to be habituated, where newness shows up, new thoughts, new awarenesses, new experiences, and energy comes back. It sounds ridiculous, but it works every time. So how many of you will commit, live stream you too, raise your hand if you would this week say yes more than you ever have? I want every hand in here up. Come on. Okay, good. So that's one. And really don't forget, because that's how the ego disappears things. It just lets you forget things. Oh, did I say I would say yes? Oh, oops. Next Sunday. So the next one is paying attention to our thoughts a lot. And this is not news for any of you who have been walking a spiritual path for a while. Every spiritual teacher that I've ever encountered says, watch your thoughts, because your thoughts create reality. But we want to watch them a lot if we really want to have a generative life, because they are incredibly subtle, and they carry messages from the ancestors. And those aren't always positive. So, for example, I brought you a couple of examples. I was listening to Mary Mann Morrissey one time, and she was a minister for many years, and she had a large church, and so one of her ministerial duties was to go to the hospital or hospice and be with her community members who were dying. And so over time, she'd been doing it quite a while, just as I have, and she began to realize that these visits had actually created an idea that's supported by the world mind that death was going to be through illness and trauma, and it was going to be hard, and it was going to be sad, and it was going to be this terrible journey. And she went, well, wait a minute. What about all the other people that die? They just die, I had a woman in my congregation in Reading. She was a gardener. She died in her garden. So sweet. But Mary realized, and maybe you can see, that because she had been with this kind of population who was dying of cancer and dying of difficult diseases and dying of Parkinson's and things like that, that she had developed in her own mind the belief that she would also have to do that, which isn't true. Could be true, but it isn't necessarily true. But the other option of not necessarily true was no longer even an option for her. So she did some real work around that. One of my favorite poets, William Stafford, A Ritual to Read to Each Other. If you haven't read it, you've got to read it. I didn't bring it today. William Stafford was a conscientious objector in World War II. That was not a popular move in our country at that time. So conscientious objectors were sort of herded together and put in these camps with not enough food, and they were taken out to do manual labor for the country. And so this particular group was in Oregon, it was basically a concentration camp. I mean, the way I picture it, with wire fences and, a gate, and no one could come in. And the townspeople around realized that the prisoners were actually starving. And so they began to bring food and supplies and things like that. So Stafford was deeply rejected during that time in his life, and then became an incredibly famous poet. So for that one, rejection turned into acclaim. There are so many stories of I was thinking about all kinds of ways that we can get caught in the negative cycle of believing the fear thoughts that we have, and how so often, if we can just not go there and open ourselves to possibilities, name of the month's theme, we begin to realize there are other ways. There are other things that could happen. And so for me, one of the most beautiful lines I ever received when I was a young person was, "Argue for your limitations, and sure enough, they're yours." Argue for your limitations, sure enough, they're yours. And so I began to ask myself, well, where are the thoughts? Because you have to really kind of catch them, because they're like road runners. They come in, they go out. Where are the thoughts that are basically saying you can't, you shouldn't, you mustn't, stop, it's too scary, it's too, whatever, right? Where are those thoughts? And I began to just sort of every day review. And as I listened to them, I changed them. I flipped them. And that's what I teach my students to do, is when you become aware of a pattern of thinking that's really not taking you in new directions and is really not what you want to become, flip it to how you do want it to become. Because your body and your mind don't know the difference between your internal experience of truth and an external experience. That's how top athletes can train themselves to win, by actually simply visualizing over and over and over how they're going to win. what speed they're going to travel at, what they're going to be doing, visualizing it, the body and the mind go, oh, okay, and it happens. Well, they're not special. We have the same capacity. It's just that for me, I don't know about you, but for me, I forget to do it because I have a good enough life. I'm grateful I have a good enough life. But a generative life is something way different than just good enough. When people say to me, well, it's not that bad, I always think in my mind, well, that means it's not that good. You know? So generative living means that we actually are living at a level not exhausted by it, but rather energized by it. And so what I wrote down here is a lot of times what we think of when we think generating is we think, because of our culture, productivity. And productivity is a dangerous word because in terms of economics, the measure of productivity is value plus time. You know, so the employees put in an extra effort and we raised our productivity 30%. And then I want to go to the employees and say, how was that for you? What did you do? Did you stay late? Did you take work home? How did that happen? So I want to change the way we think about how to generate a life that is not only productive, but is regenerative for our own self, body, mind, and spirit. And so I looked up productive, and I found some synonyms that I like better. So here they are: abundance, capacity, and potency. I love that word. So living productively, a generative life, means that we have a potent life, a life that is absolutely expressing the abundance of our spirit, and we have the capacity to do that at whatever age, from the time we're little until all the way until our very last breath. And to do that, we begin to understand that life is not about producing something, but rather contributing something. Contribution. And contribution is what made me think about children. I was raised, I was raising my kids and desperate for help. I don't know if any of you are parents, but I had 3 little girls, and I'm like, oh, wow, I need help because my parents, love them dearly, did an okay, but not that great job, so how do I do a better job? And I found Adlerian psychology. And I found books like How to Listen So Children Will Talk and How to Talk So Children Will Listen, and Love and Logic, and things like that. And the whole basis of childbearing from those perspectives was children want to contribute. And that's been my experience. Children want to contribute, and they want to be invited into the family dynamic. And so the encouragement from Adlerian psychology is children are given tasks, just like the adults are, so that they feel like they're contributing to the well-being of the family. So maybe they don't do the hard things first, but maybe, I remember getting 3 little brooms and my big broom, and we were out sweeping the walk. And they had a blast for about 5 minutes, but they were little. And so it was enough for them to go, I helped. We too want to live from that place of contribution. We too want our lives to be so rich with energy and love and compassion and contribution that we actually become an asset to wherever we show up. And at least that's my goal. And so for me, the questions I ask myself to remind myself that I need to focus on this is, I ask myself, what do I wish to create this day? Think about it. What do you wish to create this day? And what do I want to experience this day? And how do I want to feel in this day? All of these questions are sort of like super simple, but I forget to ask. I forget to ask myself, well, start of the day, how do you want this day to unfold? And as I've been paying more attention to this, I've begun to realize that when I know, I choose differently. When I know how I want to experience life, when I know how I want to create in this day, when I know how I want to feel, I make different choices. Instead of just letting my habits kind of carry me along, I say yes to things that I might not normally have even noticed. And I also say no, sometimes, in just the right ways. So for me, it's a powerful lesson in living a generative life to begin to say yes, to pay attention to our thoughts and to flip them, and then to consider how we want to be potent, contribute, have capacity for a life that we dream of, not just the life that we have. So I'll do a prayer for that. I'll do it for myself, so I'll speak in the first person, but by all means, this prayer is for you if you say yes. And that was your homework. So, just saying. Start now. There is one life, just one, and everything and everyone is a part of this one life. And the life is generated potently through a creative medium, a power and an intelligence and a love that goes beyond all knowing, that out of its very being generates all that we are and all that we know and beyond that. In this one intelligence and love, all possibilities exist. Not just in a general kind of way, but for me, there are multiple realities, an incredible array of possibilities. And I choose to live from the highest level of energy and love that is possible for me in this very moment and beyond. I open the doorways to understanding how I would generate that. And I say yes to what is presented to me as I speak this intention. I say yes because I know that as I am directed by my intention, I am unfolded. And life becomes a daring adventure, full of surprises of delight and love. I am in the creative flow, and as I allow that flow to operate in me, new ideas, new experiences, new ways of thinking are mine. This allows me to encounter life with wonder. May I never lose that wonder. This allows me to experience life deeply from a place of compassion and love. And for these things, I am grateful, knowing that as I have spoken this prayer, it is now activated in me. And so I move forward in the yes. And so it is. Thank you, everyone. All right, the ushers are preparing for the offering. Thank you, Lori and Clara, for being here. Some of our ushers couldn't come today. And thank you for any donation you give to the center. We really appreciate that. We are supported by that and that alone.
Swing open my heart, give thanks for the day. Gonna let love fill me up, get right back to the start. This is how I was made, free from the worry, free from the fear. I know Spirit is peace, loving kindness in me right now, right here, singing, don't worry about a thing. 'Cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Sing, don't worry, singing, don't worry about a thing.
Perfect. Well, so here's some announcements. Shocker, right? But we have a couple of really cool things going on. Let's see. Here we go. So I wanted to give thanks to all of you who helped over the last 3 months with our cooking events that happened. We have been making 45 to 50 meals for the unhoused who are living away from the camps and delivering them to people who then backpack them in while they're still hot. Our last one was epic. And so thank you all for being a part of that. It was amazing. Really appreciate it. Yeah. I would really like any of you who are drawn to this kind of gift, contribution. I'd like to point out Shelley, if you don't mind. Shelley, right there, is one of our folks that is part of the outreach team. And she works with Bridges to Services, this organization that backpacks the food out to people. And you don't have to make 40 or 50 meals. You can make 10, and you would be making someone who is cold and hungry and alone so nourished in so many ways by creating meals like that. So talk to her if you have questions about how to do that. Today, right after the service, you're finally going to get a glimpse of Joe Asebedo. Yeah, he's been on Vision Quest for the last 3 Sundays, and he's showing up here because he and Tim, where's Tim? There's Tim. Tim helped him create a map of our property and the various garden beds and things like that. And what Joe's hoping for is he's hoping that if you love gardening, that you'll come to this interest meeting. It won't be super long. And he's going to tell you about a plan that he kind of dreamed up and would love some help with. And so he's going to be in the classroom right after the service. So feel free to join him. And it doesn't mean you're committing. It means you're finding out what he wants and then deciding if you can help. And then tonight, we have a community song gathering with Yam and Jesse. They were here last week. How many of you were here for that? So you know a little bit about that. Joe and I and my daughter Katie are definitely coming, and I'm so glad the snow stopped. But it starts at 5:30, goes to 7:30. There's a donation of $11 to $33, but no one turned away if you can't afford it. The room will be in a big circle, and they'll be teaching us songs, and we'll be singing songs together, and I believe Tabor, you're going to be here as well. So come on down and have, it's their podcast is called Bliss is Ordinary, and part of the bliss is through singing. And so if that's something you'd like to do, join us. And then Reverend Colleen, our founding minister, is offering a Zoom class, 1 hour, every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m., starting March 1st, which is this coming week. I can't believe it, but it is. And these are the lessons she's learned that allowed her to create a life that was more than just good, and to create this place so that we could all sit in a sanctuary and be a community together. So she has a lot to share. She's very excited about this class. What you do need to do is contact her, and her email address is also on our website. So feel free, if you can't write that down or you can't see it, to contact her, and she'll give you a Zoom link for that class. It's going to go 4 weeks, and then if there's interest, she's going to do a once-a-month follow-up, I think. And then we have Sacred Circles, which are full. The ones that are in person are full now. However, there is a Zoom group that just formed. And like the Sacred Circles in person, it's only open to 10 people. And so if you missed signing up for an in-person once a month for a year discussion group, social group, a group that practices spiritually together, you can still sign up for the Zoom group, the Sacred Circle group, and you do that in the back of the room with our wonderful board members there. And so sign up right away because they start in March. This one I think starts the last Friday in March, and it's once a month for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So we'd love you to be a part of that, whether you're brand new or not. Let's see. Meditation. Someone came today. I felt bad because it doesn't start till next Sunday. But what we're doing is the practitioners, the beloved practitioners of our community, are going to be holding a meditation from 10 a.m. to 10:15 in the classroom, which is straight through that hallway, every Sunday morning. They are, however, going to close the doors and not have people come in after 10. So, we have a little bit of Bellingham time sometimes where, you show up 10 minutes late, it's still okay. Not for them. They need you there before 10. So I want you to know, come just a little early, find your seat. Now, I know some of you have special spots that you like to sit in, so you can leave your jackets or whatever on your chair and go on in there. That's that habit comfort thing I was talking about, remember that? So that's happening next week. And then we have a new member session, which is also next week, right after the service. It will be in here. And this is a requirement for membership, but you are not required to be a member to come and listen. And at this meeting, you'll meet our leadership team, which is comprised of our board members and our practitioners, and me and Reverend Zena. And so we wanted to tell you a little bit about what being a member means, what we're up to in terms of our spiritual community and sort of the near future forward, and also, invite you into membership if that's something that feels right to you. It's not a requirement ever to be here. Our last chance for donating to the Friends of the Family Resource Center is today. And so we have had an unbelievable outpouring, and thank you so much for that. Shampoo, soap, socks, all kinds of things have come our way, diapers and diapers and diapers and diapers, and we are taking them to the resource center, I think starting tomorrow. So if you missed the deadline, if you come at 10 tomorrow, you can probably sneak whatever you got in. So that's happening. And I think that's all. I did want to mention, Susan mentioned the morning prayers Monday through Friday, but I also wanted to mention that we have a lot of incredible things going on, and you're more than welcome to be a part of them. Look on the website for other CSL offerings, and you'll see a whole list of things that we do, including Dougie back there has been running a Science of Mind and Recovery discussion group for years now. 5 years? 6? Yeah, 5 years. And so that's on Wednesdays at 5:45, and new members are always welcome to come and be a part of that. So there you have it. Let's stand and we'll sing our way into the landscaping meeting or wherever else you're going.
Gonna climb this mountain, won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. No doubt about it, won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. Gonna climb this mountain, gonna climb this mountain. Won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. No doubt about it, won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. Leave behind what's weighing me down, wash away what's holding me back. My heart is falling, face forward, feet on the ground, living in this courage I found. The sky is calling, gonna climb this mountain, won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. No doubt about it, won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. Leave behind what's weighing you down, leave behind what's weighing me down, wash away what's holding me back. My heart is falling, face forward, feet on the ground, living in this courage I found. The sky is calling, gonna climb this mountain, won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. No doubt about it, won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time, one step at a time. One step at a time. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you again next week.